All right, the Niners schedule is out. The Niners schedule is out, and we're going to talk about it right now. Join us. The Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Don't miss a minute. Right now, let's go. All right, welcome to the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show. Larry Krueger with you. Hope you're having a great day. The 49ers 2025 schedule is out. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. The show is also, or I should say the video is also brought to you, or the live stream brought to you by LearnKey. LearnKey's Upskill Academy. And thanks to LearnKey for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. They're an online learning platform designed to get you job ready in 6 months or less, whether you're interested in IT, cybersecurity, marketing, could be another high-demand field. They offer over 30 different certification programs to help you take that next step in your professional career, flexible online learning, industry-recognized certifications. You can build the skills employers are looking for, all with the support of a U.S.-based student-based assistant program. So don't wait to invest in your future. Click the link in the description of this live stream and visit or upskill.learnkey.com to start today. And thanks to LearnKey for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. The 49ers schedule is out. And it's an easy schedule. I mean, it's we knew it was going to be an easy schedule, but it's an easy schedule. And definitely it's an easy schedule compared to last year. Last year, the NFL gave the 49ers the worst rest differential in the entire league, minus 21 days. This year, it's not nearly as daunting. They only get the one Thursday night game. It's early in the year at home, so that's a good break. The Niners play 5 of the 6 worst teams in the NFL: Carolina, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Cleveland, the New York Giants. There are no international games. They are not playing on Thanksgiving. They are not playing on Christmas. They are not playing in cold weather. They are not playing in hot weather. They do have a late bye. I will say that. But let's just go right through it. We'll go right through it. First of all, the key date for Niner fans, there's 2 key dates to remember. One is May 27th. That's when OTAs continue for the 49ers. That is also the day, most likely, I think, that Brock Purdy will sign his contract before he goes out to practice. So May the 27th, it's coming up. About 2 weeks from today, roughly 2 weeks from today, Brock Purdy will be signed, sealed, and delivered, in my opinion, and the Niners will be out there for Phase 3 of the OTAs, May the 27th. The other key date to remember, February the 8th. That is Super Bowl 60 at Levi's Stadium. The 49ers plan to be in that game. We'll see if they can make it. February 8th, Super Bowl 60 at Levi's Stadium. All right, let's go through the schedule. The Niners are going to open week 1 in Seattle against the Seahawks. A battle between Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold. Ooh, this one should be good. Niners open on the road for the 4th time in 5 years. If you're saying, why do the 49ers always open on the road? It's because they have requested to the league that they have fewer games in the hotter part of the year, week 1, 2, 3, and 4, at home. Because of the heat and the issues associated with sitting in the sun at Levi's Stadium for any kind of daytime 1 o'clock start in September. That's going to be hell on earth. So the Niners are trying to get out of that September hell for their fans. And so they tell the league, hey, we'd rather be scheduled on the road. I think it's actually kind of an advantage to schedule fewer games at home in September because you can bank more home games in the second half of the year. And I think I'd rather have that, especially when the home is San Francisco, California, and December weather is beautiful. I'd rather have that home game and have one less road game. That's one less potential that you have to play in snow. So week 1, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Niners opening on the road for the 4th time in 5 years. Now, interestingly enough, Seattle, the way the schedule works this year, the Niners get Seattle at the very beginning and at the very end. When that happens, sometimes you don't get a full feel for what that team is, because it could be a really great team that's just not ready to roll in week one. Or it could be a team that, has a really interesting year, but is mathematically limited by week 18. So, week 1 at Seattle, week 18 is going to be either a Saturday or a Sunday. It's yet to be determined, but it'll be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. So you're getting the Seahawks. I've seen them play the Seahawks twice in 3 weeks. Now they're getting them at the first game and the last game. Very interesting Seahawk breakdown there. So that's week 1 and week 18. Week 1 at Seattle. Niners open on the road against Sam Darnold. All right. So I always like to look at also how many winnable games. I consider that a winnable game. That could be a tough game, but it's a winnable game. Week 2, Niners in New Orleans. I think this is also a huge, huge break for the 49ers. I think that's a massive break for the Niners if you really look at it. New Orleans is either going with Spencer Rattler. They're probably going with Tyler Shugg. Or it could be Jake Hayner. But, they're going to go with a young quarterback. And if they go with Tyler Shugg, you're talking about a rookie quarterback. Now, granted, he's an older rookie, but a rookie quarterback in week 2 of the NFL season of his rookie year. So the fact that the Saints have, a quarterback turnover, that Carr moved on, I think to get them in week 2 is a major get. That's a major advantage. That's a totally winnable game for the 49ers. In the Big Easy there. Heck, maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll talk to my guy at Claudaddy Arcades and say, you know what? We got to go on the road to start the year. We'll go to Seattle. We'll go to New Orleans. Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice. Week 3, home against the Arizona Cardinals. And the Cardinals, I think, are going to be tough. I do not look at that game as an easy game. The Niners own the overall series record 36-31, 20 and 15 record at home. They've won 2 of the last 3 matchups against the Cardinals at Levi's. The Niners haven't beaten the Cardinals though at home since 2023. So, and then this will be the home opener. So then how about that? Niners go road week 1 and week 2, and this is the home opener week 3. Against and this will be, the Niners have won 3 consecutive home openers. So they'll be looking for their 4th consecutive win in the home opener. So that's week 3. Week 4, Niners and Jaguars in Levi's, back-to-back home games. So here comes Trevor Lawrence. Once again, you're not playing the best quarterbacks. You got Trevor Lawrence here in week 4. You got to like that. Niners are 5-2 all time against Jacksonville, 2-0 at home. Niners host Jacksonville at Levi's for the first time since 2017. So there you go. That's week 4, Niners, Jaguars. And I think that's, I always like to look at that first month of the season. To me, that's 4 winnable games. I would say 3-1 is possible. If you go 2-2 in the first 4 games, it's not a disaster, but I think 4-0 is a definite possibility. And then week 5 is national TV at Rams, Niner home game, Thursday night at Levi's South at SoFi. Niners going up against their best quarterback they faced yet in Stafford. The Rams are a good team. So that's going to be a very challenging game, I have a feeling. Niners-Rams week 5. Niners will face the Rams on Thursday Night Football for the 5th time, by the way, in series history and for the first time in consecutive seasons. And this will be the first Thursday nighter for the Niners at SoFi Stadium. The Niners have won 7 of the last 9 regular season matchups on the road against the Rams since the Rams returned to LA in 2016. So advantage 49ers there. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. That's week 5. All right, week 6. Now, this is the Niners in Tampa. And it could be warm weather. It's early October, but for the most part, the Niners miss the brutal heat. They don't, they play the only road games they play are the Seahawks and the Saints to begin, and Saints we all have the dome. So this is probably the warmest weather game of the year for the 49ers. This is October 12th in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. And I think the Buccaneers are a really good football team. So I think that could be a very challenging game. The Niners lead the all-time series 21-7, 7-4 on the road. This is the fourth consecutive year that the Niners will play Tampa in the regular season. And the Niners have won 7 of 10 meetings between Tampa. So it sets up well for the 49ers. Now, I think week 6 is going to be a really interesting game. That is or week 7, I should say. Week 7. This is home game against the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. And Demo Lenore already tweeted no catches allowed to Ray McLeod ahead of the announcement. But Niners-Falcons, and to me, the Atlanta Falcons are one of the up-and-coming teams. Michael Penix is a burgeoning superstar, and this is going to be a tough game. The Falcons are a much better football team than people think. They added some pass rush. They added some safety play. They added, Penix last year. They got some weapons. They got a really good offensive line. They've got a much improved defensive line. I think the Falcons are going to be a very tough opponent for the 49ers in week 7. Niners lead the all-time series 48-33-1, including 29-12 at home. And Niners have won 3 of their previous 5 home games against the Falcons. But I just think Michael Penix and the Falcons are going to be one of the up-and-coming teams. So that, to me, is going to be a hard game. This is where the schedule gets kind of tough. You go week 6 at Tampa, week 7 against a Michael Penix Falcons team on national TV. Granted, it's a home game, but Penix he's got absolute great arm, and I think the Falcons are a sleeper team. Then in week 8, you got to travel to Houston for an early morning start against the Texans. Now the Niners are 4-1 against the Texans all time, 1-1 on the road. But that early start is never easy. That always is a big challenge, and I'm sure it will be here. Week 8 on the road against C.J. Stroud and company. Week 9 sees the Niners take on the New York Football Giants. And the Giants are a bad team, right? They could have Jackson Dart starting at quarterback, I would imagine at this point. I think this should be a pretty easy game for the 49ers, but it's an early start on the East Coast. So that early morning East Coast window is never easy. Niners are 22-21 all time against the Giants, 9-11 on the road. So Niners haven't faced the Giants in the regular season since 2023, which was a Niner 30-12 win on September 21st of 2023. But I like this game. Giants are an improving team, but they're still one of the league's worst teams, and I like the Niners to beat them in that morning game against at MetLife. Week 10 is the Rams, and that's a 125 game against the Rams. Niners are 9-3 in their previous 12 regular season matchups against the Rams. So that's a week 10 matchup. Week 11, they go to Arizona to play the Cardinals. And once again, 105 start. Niners are 500 on the road against the Cardinals, 16 wins, 16 losses. Niners have won 4 of the previous 6 road games, though, against the Cardinals. So there you go. Niners-Cardinals 105 start in week 11. That's Sunday, November the 16th. So we're now in mid-November. Now week 12, the turn for home. The Panthers on Monday Night Football. That should be an absolute blowout. Niners at home against the Panthers on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. The Niners have 53 wins on Monday night. It's the second most wins in Monday Night Football in NFL on Monday Night Football in NFL history. Niners are 2-0 against the Panthers in primetime. That looks like a very easy win for the Niners. Now, week 13. Here's the one cold weather game on the schedule. The Niners will take on the Browns in Cleveland, but they get there November 30th. So, I mean, it's going to be cold weather for sure, but it's not brutally cold. Niners are 8-13 all time against Cleveland, 2-8 on the road. Niners looking for their first road win against Cleveland since 1984. Whoa, that's a long time ago. The teams have split the previous 4 meetings. The Browns are bad. This should be a 49er win. It's an early start, in the Eastern time zone. But week 13, I still think the Browns, and we'll see, that could be a wet weather game, and Purdy struggles with wet weather. We'll see about that game. All right, week 14 is the bye. Now that right there is pretty amazing. The Niners don't get the bye until week 14. I'll say this. If you're going to get the bye a tad early or a tad late, I'd much rather it be a tad late than a tad early. But still, man, 13 straight weeks of football coming into the regular season before the bye week. That's going to be a challenge. That means that those the schedule right here, Panthers, Browns, while it looks really easy, Panthers at home on a Monday night and at Cleveland, they look like winnable games, and they are winnable games, but they're not just absolute gimmies, because this will be week 12 and week 13 without a bye. So the Niners should be pretty gassed at this point in the schedule. So week 14, they get the bye. Week 15, they come out of the bye, and they're home against the Tennessee Titans. And it's anybody's guess. Is Cam Ward starting? Is Cam Ward hurt at that point? The Titans had a really bad offensive line last year. If their offensive line is really bad this year, odds are they won't even be Cam Ward by the time the Titans roll in week 15. We'll see. I expect them to give Cam the starting job, and who knows? He may get knocked out. Let's go to week 16. Week 16 is Niners-Colts on a Monday nighter in Indy. Niners are 18-27 against Indianapolis all time, 7-15 on the road. So the Niners face the Colts in primetime for the second time in franchise history, the first time since 2021. They'll travel to Indy for the first time since the 2017 season. This is going to be a tougher game than you think. I don't know what Indy's going to be at this point. You don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, but man, I mean, if they're in it, that's going to be a very competitive, very tough game. That's a tough place to play. It's just a tough play. It's loud. I think that could be a tougher game than it looks. And then week 17 is Bears on Sunday Night Football. And I think the Bears are going to have a rough year. I really do. The Niners lead the all-time series 36-33 with one tie, including a 23-14 record at home. Niners have won 6 of the previous 10 against the Bears. This is prime time, Sunday Night Football, week 17. I think this should be a pretty one-sided game. I like the 49ers to win that game big over the Bears. And then week 18, Seattle rolls in, and we don't know if it's going to be a Saturday yet or if it's going to be a Sunday. Niners are 12-14 at home against Seattle. Niners have won 5 of the previous 10 regular season matchups against Seattle, including 2 of the last 3 at home. And this is they'll meet in the final week of the regular season for the 5th time in the series history. So they finish with Seattle. And then, of course, the preseason schedule is also out. Denver. The Niners will take on Denver at home, Raiders on the road. August 7th through 10th is the Denver weekend. August 14th through the 18th is the Raiders on the road in Vegas. And then August 21st to the 24th, they'll play the Chargers at home. I think that's probably a Thursday or Friday. I forget how that works to finish up the preseason. So 3 preseason games, 2 at home, 1 on the road, and then 2 road games to start at Seattle, at New Orleans. No weather to speak of. Really, there's not any brutal late year game with Buffalo. There's no game in Green Bay. There's no freezing game, or there's no hot game early. The week 14 bye is the late bye, so that definitely makes it interesting. But overall, I would say 49ers got a very favorable schedule. I like what I see. I mean, how could you not? 49ers got a very, very favorable schedule. They only get the one Thursday night game. It's pretty early. They play 5 of the 6 worst teams in the league. They don't play any international games. There'll be nothing crazy like that. It looks good. It looks good. I like the schedule. I think if you're a 49er fan, you got to be really, really excited about this schedule. Now, I won't go win-loss, 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 but I think the 49ers are a 11-win type football team with this schedule especially. Maybe more, maybe 12. But I don't see any real bugaboos. To me, you better be ready week 1 in Seattle because Seattle's going to fire. You better be ready week 5 when you go to LA for Thursday nighter against the Rams. You better be ready, I think, to really play a good stretch of ball right in that October month because you go at Rams, at Bucks, Falcons with Penix rolling in, at Houston. That's a tough October for sure. But I mean, it looks pretty comfy cozy the rest of the way, man. I mean, second half of the year games against Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears. Come on, man. It doesn't get too much easier than that. I mean, that's what you're looking for if you can get it. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. I'm up at 6 o'clock in about 20 minutes from now on KMBR to break down the schedule more for a little Niners Nightly. Chase Sr. is going to stop by at 5:15 or at 6:15. We'll get his thoughts on the schedule release and some of the stories related to the Niners. And that does it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to LearnKey Upskill Academy. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.